Um, okay, so to start off, um, I'm Ritom, and I'm here with Lily, and today we're interviewing Miss Sullivan. Could you start off by introducing yourself?
Okay. Hi, my name is Jackie Sullivan, and I am, I guess, I work at the University of Central Florida as an adjunct instructor in the College of Engineering and Computer
Lily,
Science.
and today
My
we're
background is
interviewing Miss
in
Sullivan.
microbiology and chemistry, and I have a master's degree in environmental engineering. And right now, I basically am in charge of the freshman engineering classes that we host for over 1,300 students that come into our college each fall to get a degree in engineering.
Okay. Lily, did you want to say something?
Yeah, so what inspired you to take this career path?
Well, I had been working in private industry for quite a few years. I was working with an environmental consulting firm. It was a civil environmental engineering consulting firm, and my area of focus was water, wastewater treatment plant design, also reclaimed water systems where you reuse the wastewater for irrigation, so beneficial reuse. And those are the design projects that I worked on. And then I started having kids. And after number two, I stopped working full time and ended up having four children and stepped out of the workforce for a little bit and re entered the workforce, helping run some STEM programs for middle school students. And then back in 2012, I started teaching environmental courses at UCF as an adjunct instructor. And that's what I'm still doing today.
So I know how you mentioned you guys for the freshmen you work on stuff for the incoming freshmen. What are some of the stuff you guys have done in the past few years?
Well, okay, so the freshman courses that we require the students to take in the college, the purpose of them is to basically introduce students to the field of engineering and to give them some assignments and some project work that let them see what it's like, what the future holds for them. Because what was happening, it was about, I want to say about 20 years ago, university or the College of Engineering realized that students could come into UCF, come into the college, and not even get exposed to anything engineering related as far as 2 years into their degree. And, they would be taking prerequisite courses. And so we created this class to help the students kind of get a taste of engineering to see if, yes, this is what they want, or no, this is not what they want. And we retained about 30 different years, 30 to 40% more students.
Oh.
So it was like, wow, okay, this is obviously a good thing to do. Now, admittedly, we're 20 years fast forward, we're 20 years into today. And so now the course is kind of changing a little bit more in that a lot of students, because of the STEM programs like robotics and what you guys are doing, they already know what they want. They know they want to go engineering and they're very excited. And so now I'm working on trying to tweak the curriculum where we kind of challenge students a little bit more. We give them a little more experience in different areas. For example, one of the things we do is they take a refresher course, and for some kids, they've never even used it in Excel, because that's something that you're going to use throughout your career at UCF. They get exposed to MATLAB and SolidWorks, and then we do some project design work too, to give them. I like to say that, in engineering, you're not an island unto yourself. Sometimes students think, oh, I'm going to be an engineer, I'll have my little project and I'll just work on it. And that's not the case. You're going to work on it, yes, but you're also going to have to collaborate and coordinate and work with other people and other types of engineers in order to make a big project come to fruition.
Yeah.
So, we're in the first tech program, and it is like a little team. It's not a single person. Do you have any advice, teamwork-wise, that could apply to what we're doing? Because you know what FTC is all about?
Yes, I do. This is really generic, but I think if more people listened than talked sometimes, it would be better. um, I think in any project, sometimes people just kind of talk because everybody's got ideas and they want to get their idea across. But I think it's important that people kind of slow down and not act like they're listening, but really listen to what other people have to say. I know it's generic, but I think it's a real key to success in project work is people really being quiet and closing their mouths and really opening up their ears to listen to what other people have to say. I'm guilty of it. I mean, we've all been in Zoom meetings lately, and you kind of zoom out, and you're not really listening. So I think that project work goes better if people really listen, and and do your best too. I think to have an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
And one more thing, I think too that the more people you get involved and let everyone have a part of something, people tend to really support that which they contribute to and that which they have a part in. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend.
Well, because I was listening to you about what job you do and what your occupation is, do you have any advice for how to really get involved in STEM, like opportunities out there? Because I know you work a lot with freshman students and trying to get them internships and different things.
Yeah, I think it sounds silly, but I will use an example. For example, I have a daughter that thinks she might want to go into computer science. So what are we doing?
We're breaking the fourth wall here.
What's that?
I think we're breaking the fourth wall here. I'm the daughter.
Okay, well, I didn't know if they needed to know you were the daughter. But seriously, you think you know what you want to do. Well, ideally, you try and figure that out if you can before you go to college. So you're taking a computer programming course, quite frankly, to see if you like it. Because if you don't, then you can spend time during your senior year in high school just, doing what you're doing now, interviewing people. Back in my day, we used to do something called job shadowing, where friends of your family or the school would help coordinate you going in as a high school student to just watch someone, literally just kind of follow them during the day. And I can remember following my dad's attorney and leaving that day going, I'm not going into law. And, is that good or is that bad? I don't know. But at least I had a feel for what it was about. And I felt at that time that it really wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any opportunity like that to just, whether it's friends or family, I think job shadowing is great.
Going back to Lily's question about the team, about teams working together. So a lot of times this happens in our team, but some people will have like opposing viewpoints on how we should design our robot. So like pretend we want to have a linear slide. I mean, we want to move something linearly, so we can use string or a belt, but we don't know which route to go. Some person might think string, some other people might think belts. How would we kind of come to a better conclusion so that everyone gets to try? Because a lot of times we also run out of time. So
yeah, that is a problem. Of course, the thing that comes to my head is you would create a quick prototype to just kind of prove your design's capabilities and your design's success. Other than that really is the ideal way to do it, would be to either build a quickie prototype. The other thing you could do is, you have something that when I was your age I did not have, and that is the internet. I mean, yes, I'm dating myself, I'm aging myself here, but all we had was what the people you knew, anything that your teachers could give you, magazines, the newspaper. You have the internet. You could literally find someone who is an expert in what you're proposing potentially. You can Google and see another first robotics robot that did well with that design. I mean, you guys have that capability. So I guess really, if you can't prototype it, then my gosh, search the internet. You have so much at your disposal.
Oh, I know what I was going to ask. Okay, so within the robotics program, there is an element of writing in it. And it kind of seems independent of engineering and what it's about in the process of designing and building. But I know that you write a lot of proposals for grants and different things. Could you discuss how writing intertwines with engineering?
Yeah. Well, again, it kind of gets back to that listening part. The more you listen, the more you learn, the more you're able to really comprehend people's ideas and their thoughts. Yes, I have written proposals and been kind of successful with a few of them, but communication is just so important. Everything you look nowadays. I mean, someone on a TikTok account can have so much impact, and it blows my mind, but it's the truth. And so I think in engineering, even though it's engineering, communication is so important. I think one of the most important things in engineering is the ability to break things down and simplify things. I tend to be, obviously, I like to talk, right? I'm a pretty social person. And so for me, I always have to try and kind of break things down into the fewest words possible. But I think that the goal of an engineer should be to get that capability of being able to take something complicated and explain it on a very basic level. And if you can do that, you'll go much farther, quite frankly, I think. So yeah, that's my advice for communication is that yes, it's extremely important. If you think that writing and oral communication are not important, you're wrong, because you can have the best idea in the world, but if you cannot communicate it to someone, and if you cannot break it down into simplified concepts that they can grasp and support, then your idea is not really going to go anywhere.
How would you say, say you had a great idea, but how would you say you would simplify it to, say you're making a product and you want to advertise it, and what would make an investor kind of want to invest in your product?
Well, if it's a product, I know one of the things that we teach in our entrepreneurship classes at UCF is that you've got to talk to your market first. You have to do some legwork. You have to survey people, and you have to demonstrate need for the product. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You might think this is the best idea since the ice cream cone, but you could get out there and just start surveying people, and they may say, "This makes no sense." Okay, well, if you go out there though and people say, "Yeah, this is really cool, I'm on board with that," then that's when you compile that data, and that needs to be at the very top of your presentation.
So you mentioned earlier in your career, before you had kids, sorry about that. Earlier in your career, you worked as an environmental engineer and with wastewater, the polite word for poop water. Do you have any funny stories or anything you would like to share? Any anecdotes?
No, I don't know. I just learned early on that, you know, people always tell you dress for success. Not if you're touring a wastewater plant, though, because I had a little heel. I wore a dress. I had a little heel, and I was constantly getting the heel stuck in the grates, going over these tanks of poop water. And I remember my professor going, "Are you kidding me? You're bright, but how can you be so stupid? You're so bright, but how can you be so stupid?" And anyway, so that was thoroughly embarrassing, and I obviously lacked common sense, but I never made that mistake again in touring wastewater plants or water treatment plants. And yeah, so good lesson to learn. But that was during college, so I didn't look like a complete idiot when I was in the workforce. So that's good.
See, it's about making mistakes.
College is where you want to make the mistakes. Yeah, exactly.
And you can make them in high school too now because you've got the robotics teams and different things.
Well, that's true. No, it's exactly. You're exactly right. Yep, and that'll make you even more competitive in college, and you'll do great when you do the different competitions at the college level.
Okay, so
go ahead. Well, I was just going to say the other thing too that I do, that I tell the freshman students, the engineering students, for those of you in the high school on the team, you want to make sure that you do get at least some piece of the project that you really can call your own, because in interviews, the interviewer really likes to hear, "I did this, I recommended this, I wrote this, I built this, I programmed this," versus we. Yes, it's a team effort, but it's ideal if in high school or in college, you can have true ownership of a portion of this project or product, and be able to say exactly what you did. So yeah, that's something I tell the freshmen. So it applies to the high school kids too.
So that actually is something that I was going to ask you about. You've interviewed with a lot of different people. You've set people up for job offers, internships. What are the common characteristics you find between the people for applying for these jobs and the ones that are actually getting it? What are like the common characteristics of those individuals?
Not to put pressure on students, but you want to maintain, as high a GPA as possible. We tell the freshmen, hey, stay above a 3.0. I have heard rumblings that now it's become stay above a 3.2. But, that is a key part of things. Students get very excited sometimes, and they want to join all kinds of activities. And, I'll tell them about opportunities, and they'll get excited and they'll want to do all these things. But I always have to try and keep everyone grounded and remind them that, yes, these are here for you to do, and they're great and they're exciting, and you learn so much and meet people. But unless you have that grade point average, this is not going to happen for you. So, I think staying grounded and realizing that it's always grades first. Get situated, get the good, strong study habits, get in a good academic groove, and then, bite off the internships, and then bite off the clubs and the activities. So that's step one. You've got to do that. That's always a common theme, is that the people that get the internships, they've got a nice solid GPA because they've demonstrated that they can handle the academic rigor. No one wants to hire someone if they think that they're going to be the cause of them failing out of school. So once you get that academic rigor under control and you've got good, solid study habits, that's when you can bite off a club or two. And through that club activity is likely where you're going to learn about those internship activities. And the club, they are so supportive. They do resume workshops, they do mock interviews, all kinds of things like that. So you see how one thing kind of leads to another. But basically, the people that do get those internships, they followed that pattern. Yeah.
Engineering.
Okay, I can tell you that for every...
She has too much to say.
Yeah, it's for every major that we offer, we have a technical club or 3 that's associated with it. And these technical clubs are either college chapters that are part of a national society, or they're competitive teams. Our what is it? AIAA, the American Institute for Aeronautics and Astronautics. Our drone team just came in 2nd place in the world. I think they lost to an Indian team with a drone competition. So, there's just so many opportunities, but every single major has, as I said, 1 to 3 or 4 clubs and then competitive teams. With regard to entrepreneurship, the College of Engineering works alongside the College of Business, because the venture capital opportunities, we've realized that when business combines with engineering, there's no stopping us. And so the College of Business and the College of Engineering work together to offer venture capital opportunities, basically competitions, where students can present their ideas, their business plans, and 9 times out of 10, the really good projects, ideas, products that win the awards, they include business majors as well as engineers. So see, this is where I'm talking about the communication. The engineers have to be willing to listen to the business people and vice versa. And when they work together, that's when great things happen. In the College of Engineering, we also offer an entrepreneurship class it's a no credit hour, no cost course taught by a gentleman who he's created and sold 3 companies that are currently on the NASDAQ exchange. So within the college, we also have a lot of opportunities for our students to learn about entrepreneurship.
Okay, so I think we have a chat going on. Are there any questions in the chat? Or we'll give 10 seconds if anyone has any.
Created and...
No questions?
It is dinner time.
Okay.
We'll give them that. It's dinner time. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. If I could have one superpower. Oh, let's see. Oh my goodness. I wish that I had so much money and all I could do was just give it away to people that need it and to cool entrepreneurs, cool engineering projects. I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for.
Mine would be lightning hands. I guess yours is a little more generous, but... Okay, so before we end this, you understand our audience is mostly teenagers, middle school and high school.
Okay.
You've had 4 kids. You've taught hundreds of kids.
Thousands.
Last word. Okay. My bad. Thousands. So it was a big class. Give us advice.
Oh, okay. Let's see. All right. I think one of the best things is be honest with yourself. Don't do something or major in something because somebody else, like your parents, told you to do it. Not saying you shouldn't listen to your parents because they are wise and they give great advice. However, to really succeed, you have to want to study that particular area. I started school. You may have thought, well, what was that microbiology chemistry degree? Well, that's because my dad wanted me to be a doctor. Okay, that didn't happen. And I parlayed my science background into this, which was at the time a new field of environmental engineering. So it all worked out. But I do feel that, again, job shadow, use the internet, talk to friends, parents, talk to relatives, and try and figure out what it is that you will study for 4 years, because it's a long haul. It's a 4-year commitment when you go to college. And it's important that you of environmental engineering passion, because it's a lot of work sometimes, and what gets you through is that end goal. And if it's your goal, it'll happen.
So people have put questions in the chat now. So Clayton says, "What's your advice for someone trying to figure out what career path they want to go into?"
Yeah, again, I know it's really hard, but you have to take some time to try and absorb what you think you might be interested in, learn about it. Again, whether it's from watching things on YouTube or television programs, or, I'm old school, Wired magazine, you've got to see what is it that you're truly interested in. And I'm not going to lie, it's good to make money, okay? And it's good to know that whatever you're interested, that it has a future. That's important too. But like I said, with Lily, what we're doing is she may not be happy with me, but I made her take this programming class because she thinks that's where she wants to go. Well, the best way to figure it out is to actually do it, do that programming and say, yeah, I kind of like this. And I will stay up 29 hours working on a project that's due because I like it. It's my goal. So like I said, just see what the interest is, and then try and dabble in it somehow if you can, to see if it's right for you.
Okay. Another question we have is, what personality traits or skills would be needed to succeed in the STEM field?
Well, like it or not, you're going to have to do high-level math. The minimum at UCF for most engineering degrees is calculus 1, 2, 3, and differential equations. And the biggest complaint a lot of students have, they'll say, oh, I'll never use calculus again, or oh, I'll never use differential equations again. Well, you may not use all of it, but you will use it, some of it. Even in environmental engineering, we use differentials, we use some Calc 2. You won't use all of it, but you have to get through it. So there's that. You have to get through the basics. The other thing that I really want to encourage, and this is just kind of from my experience working with students and also having been in that pre-med crowd, is that if you enter one of the technical fields like engineering, like computer science, I think you're going to find that the attitude is, you know what, we're all in this together and we can help each other out. One of the things that I really push on students is study groups, study buddy, because what I understand, you might not understand, and what you understand, I might not understand, and together we're going to understand everything. So I think it's really important, whether you're in high school and now I'm not promoting cheating. That's not where I'm going. I'm just promoting students working together on problems. And so in the College of Engineering, I see that all the time. People helping each other. I will never forget, I had this one young lady, she had a D in the class, in an environmental class, and a young man who I knew had an A and was a nice person. I said, I know you have a study group. Can I talk to you about it? And I asked if they would welcome in this other individual. And she got an A on the final exam. And I guarantee it was because she was working with people that uplifted her. And, if I can explain something to you and help you, that just makes me understand it even more.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win all the way around,
And also,
in the medical field, it was all get out of my way. I'm not helping anybody because I need to get into med school. So see, it's totally different. And I saw that firsthand in college. So yeah, if you go in those technical fields, get those groups together because you're all in it together and you can get through together.
yeah, it also like kind of gives you the motivation. Like if you have someone there with you, you have to show up at the library at 3 p.m. Then
Yep.
you can't just
Yep.
cancel. That's just disrespectful of their time. So
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It is. I mean, you drag yourself out of the dorm or out of bed or whatever because you know that there is a group there, waiting to work together. So absolutely. And the same thing goes, for the robotics team. It's important that everybody realize that they need to pull their weight, that to dump everything on one person is not good. Not good at all. It's not going to help y'all win. You'll win if you work together. And that takes leadership. So the leader is the one who has to know how to divvy out the work so it's not all put on one person.
yeah.
Any other questions in the chat for Tom or no?
No question.
Okay, then I think we are wrapping this up. I want to thank you again, Mrs. Sullivan, for being interviewed today. And Ritam, any words?
Thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
It was wonderful talking to you. And you just let me know this year how I can help you guys out.